It's week 17 of the NHL season, and the league continues to be absolutely on fire. We had a 40-year-old legend getting a standing ovation with a storybook performance. Then, the drama that has been taking the NHL by hostage may finally be coming to an end with a massive trade. All this going on while every team ramps up the intensity before one of the most anticipated hockey tournaments that we've seen in years. So, let's cover what really happened in week 17 of the NHL season. Sunday, Secret Assassin. It all kicks off with the Rangers and the Avs, and both these teams have been under the microscope lately, with the Rangers surging back into the playoff conversation and the Avs having just completed one of the biggest trades in season in league history. The big piece they got back in the deal was Slim Shady himself and Marty Necas, and he looked a lot more comfortable in Game 2 in an Avs jersey. 2 assists and riding the overwhelming wave that is Cale Makar. This game was a gunslinging shootout, and it came down to the last shot wins as the Avs strike with Arturi Lehkonen potting one with 15 seconds left. That's a massive dub for the Avs in the Central Division playoff race, and that ties them for the Wild for third in the division, but not for long, because Minnesota got the pleasure of playing the Bedards. 2-0 lead, and Foligno's going to pick up a penalty and give an Oscar-level performance imitating Kirill Kaprizov of his dive. Get this guy in a Scorsese movie and get him in the box says Stripes as he gets a penalty for his acting chops, only for Minnesota to score. The Wild take it 4-2 and contribute to the Bedards' relentless pursuit of the basement. Meanwhile, Ottawa's got Utah, and Brady Tkachuk finally ends his 11-game goalless drought with the game winner for them to jump into the third seed of the Atlantic. I don't know about you, but I think that takes them out of the Bermuda Triangle of Mid for now. Then it's all in Canada between the Jets and Flames, where the secret assassin in Cal Connor starts to dance. He gets 6-2 in Calgary, all tangled up like a pretzel, and then goes backhand Billy for the finish. Gabe Vilardi puts up a 4-point night, and the Jets' #1 power play in the league stays red hot with 2 goals. Finally, we head over to Vegas, and get this. Team Canada D-man and Vegas defenseman Alex Pietrangelo withdrew from the Four Nations tournament to treat an ailment. Now, this tournament starts in 2 weeks, and it's apparently so bad that he can only just have over 24 minutes of ice time against the Panthers. Listen, we all know it's coming. The Vegas injured reserves are gearing back up, baby, and the scary part is they're whipping the reigning champs 4-1 with their current squad. And to end the night, they have the 3rd best record in the NHL. Monday, the Kid versus Sid. In a league dominated by youth, how about a 31-year-old Dominic Shine making his NHL debut after spending 9 years in Grand Rapids? You're telling me there's a chance to still make it? Absolutely incredible. And so was Lucas Raymond. 4-point night for him. Everybody loves Raymond as the Wings take down the Quiet Killers and the Kings to win their 3rd in a row. That means Philly's got to go to work just to tread water for the last wildcard spot, and they do. Bobby Brink goes to the rink, sets the tone with the first goal, and they never look back against the Devils. Philly takes it as the Devils continue to struggle as of late. Now let's check in on our favorite soap opera out west, where Quinn Hughes continues to put on a season for the ages. Look at him thread the needle under the laces. What a sick puppy. And then JT Miller, who everyone keeps saying he's ready to leave Vancouver, he's checked out, drops the gloves with Braden Shen right at the beginning of the second. Electric game for him as he buries a goal on top of that, and the Canucks win to try and find their way back into that last wildcard spot. Then you got McDavid back from his suspension, and you just knew he was pissed off enough to tuck one, as the Oilers remain one of the hottest teams in the league since December and win their 3rd in a row with a 4-2 victory over the Kraken. That leaves us the Kid versus Sid. Celebrini versus Crosby for the first time. Penguins trailing by 1, and Sid, the middle-aged man, shows how it's done. He slaps one home to tie the game, and even Sharks fans know that Sid's got a new name. He's no longer the Kid. But then the new Kid responds as Celebrini steps right up. He answers back immediately, and that is the game winner. The Sharks beat the Penguins to make the #SaveSid movement grow stronger, and the prophecy of the 2025 Cup champs being the Sharks somewhat still remains alive. Tuesday, trouble for Dallas. What a lucky day for the Tampa Bay Lightning, who get to play the Blackhawks, and they absolutely blow it. Connor Bedard, rockstar zone on the goal line, rips it short side on Johansson. Get off your knees, son. What a shot to spark 3 more unanswered goals to hand Tampa Bay an L. That's important because Boston is 1 spot ahead of Tampa, but they hold the worst goal differential of any team in a playoff spot. Missing camp has Jeremy Swayman playing catch-up and off his game, and it doesn't help that Boston is banged up on the back end. However, outside of Pasta and Marchand, there's not a lot to love up front on this Bruins team. So, with Buffalo still mourning the Bills' loss to the Chiefs for the 1,000th time, they did something the Bills couldn't do when it mattered most, and that's score a touchdown. J.J. Peterka and Tage Thompson both get hatties as they hand the Bruins their 9th loss in their last 10 road games. The Caps, on the other hand, have been great on the road, and they're in Calgary where Tom Wilson and Rasmus Andersson are yapping at each other in the box. Andersson starts mocking Wilson, Wilson starts mocking Andersson, but the Caps ultimately get the last laugh with protests burying late in the third to win it. Logan Thompson, who's fresh off the 6x6 $6 million deal, comes out and flat out stones the Flames, stopping 32 of 33 shots. He's got a 23-2-3 record now, and Team Canada didn't even give him a phone call for the Four Nations tournament. Over in Montreal, the secret assassin is having a week. He gets a buzzer beater goal at the end of the second for his second of the night, and the Jets roll over Montreal to stay on top of the Central. While all this is going on, the Rangers are still trying to salvage this nightmare of a season, but run into a Carolina team high off the biggest deal of the year. Rantanen, first assist as a Kane, Svechnikov, 2 goals, and a shutty for Mr. Anderson in a 4-0 win. Natchez and the Avs have got the New York Islanders. How about this? Arturi Lehkonen falls on his ass and says, "I like it down here," so he tucks one while on the rear. But ever since they started leaving Lou voicemails about what the Islanders should do, they've been on a heater. They score 5 goals. I know, how nuts, but they win their 5th in a row. They are slowly climbing out of toilet bowl contention, but two teams who certainly are not are the Ducks and Kraken. They are our toilet bowl match of the night, and you gotta know that the 2-time runner-up toilet bowl champs and the Ducks don't lose these games. They put up 6 and overpower the Kraken to win the toilet bowl. Finally, Viva Las Vegas, 2 heavyweights with the Stars in town, and it's a playoff atmosphere right from the start. Barbashev scores on the first shot of the game. It's waved off, so Eichel just comes right back and does it again. Then it's just terrible news for Dallas. Mark Stone gets tripped up, but he still lunges forward at Heiskanen and goes headfirst into his knee. He's down, can't put any pressure on it, and it's a major loss for Dallas and Team Finland as well. Fortunately for the Stars, Wyatt Johnson puts the team on his back and scores 3 straight goals, including the OT winner, to give them their 3rd straight win. Wednesday, Vintage Sid. We get round 2 of the Flyers versus Devils this week, and that means the hate started to boil over. Brendan Dillon absolutely rocks Owen Tippett in the middle. I don't know what it is with Flyers getting caught with their head down in the neutral zone against the Devils, but he was shaken up. Torts wants a penalty, but he doesn't get one. The Devils come down the other way with a 2-on-1. Luke and Jack Hughes, and Luke looks off his older brother for the goal. The Hughes brothers run the NHL, and the Devils run the Flyers show in a 5-0 beatdown. So do the Wild against the Leafs. No Kaprizov again, no problem. Perfect sleepy Wednesday night game to close that big deal with the client in the lower bowl in Toronto. No one made a peep as they watched the Wild completely shut down a Leaf team who struggles to score. Their offense from their defense is non-existent, and that's not a good thing when half your cap is tied up in forwards. As if Leaf Nation wasn't already in shambles, the Panthers put on a defensive clinic against the Kings. Drew Doughty returned after missing months from an injury, but his favorite person in the world, Matthew Tkachuk, puts up 3 points as the Panthers shut out the Kings and hop Toronto for first in the Atlantic. The only place in Canada where there's more drama is Vancouver. GM Jimmy Rutherford flat out said that there's no good solution to the rift between Miller and Pettersson. However, if they make the playoffs, they should build a statue of Quinn Hughes. What this guy is doing this year on a circus of a team is unbelievable. We did a full breakdown on our channel this week, which you should check out after this video, but he puts out 2 points in another win over the Preds, and he leads all defensemen in scoring. Not to mention, he has 23 more points than the second highest scorer on the Canucks. That is Hart Trophy territory. In Mormon territory, the Utah no-name brands welcome Sid and the Penguins. No matter how much noise kicks up about the hashtag Save Sid movement coming into fruition, Crosby said he's done addressing trade rumors. And he puts his money where his mouth is as he comes out in OT and turns into vintage Sid. Patience of a monk, holds it to his backhand and buries the game winner to end Wednesday night. Thursday, Flower Power. Bruins fans were thrilled to hear on Thursday that Charlie McAvoy is Charlie Backavoy. 7 games out with an injury, maybe can provide some stability out there, but the wheels fall right off in the 3rd period. The Jets score 4 unanswered goals in the final period, and Scheifele gets a 2-goal game. On top of having the best goalie in the league, the Jets are the only team to have 2 30-goal scorers on their roster. All they have to do now is not completely fall apart when it matters most. And we got some entertainment in Ottawa. How about a penalty shot to change things up? Josh Norris buries, and then Ovi responds later by putting a floater from range. That means he's 19 goals back from the great one. However, in OT, Thomas Chabot, the birthday boy, gets the game winner as his present. The Sens have now won 3 in a row and look like they are fed up being in the Bermuda Triangle of Mid. Surprisingly, the Tampa Bay Lightning are chasing them in the standings, but the Kings call 1-800-BIG-SAVE-DAVE. Point, empty net? I don't think so. Dave Riddick, glove save, leave a 5-star review. Unfortunately, though, for our pal Dave, the Kings' offense has completely dried up as they got shut out in back-to-back games. Then we had the Fleury farewell in Montreal. This is likely his last ever start in his hometown, and Montreal rolls out the tribute. Fleury then proceeds to put on a show. Only 19 saves, but he looked like vintage Flower kicking out the leg mini-stick style as he records a shutout. How can you not be romantic about hockey? Storybook moment and a classy touch from Montreal as they all stay out to shake hands, including coach Martin St. Louis. Fleury's 40 years old and he's still got some magic in him. Legendary. Now, while everyone's in their feels in Montreal, Lou Lamoriello and Patrick Roy have got the Islanders humming. Listen, I'll beg on the Islanders all day if they're boring and bad, but if they're boring and good, you gotta respect it. Lou still won't answer my voicemails, but they shut out the Flyers 3-0 and have held their opponents to 2 goals or fewer in 10 of their last 12 games. They've now won 6 in a row and are back to flirting with a potential wildcard spot. Out west, the Flames got the 2-time runner-up Toilet Bowl champs and they take full advantage. The Wolfpack, 30 saves, Matt Coronado, 2 goals, and the Flames come out with 2 points to get back in the final wildcard spot in the West. Now, if there's one area Calgary needs help in, it's scoring. So after the game, they make a trade with Philly to send Kuzmenko and Peltier to Torts and get back Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost. Not a bad move for a team who had low expectations coming into the season. Speaking of low expectations, my sweet Sharks have fallen right off the damn cliff. 2-8 in their last 10, and they let Seattle put up 6 as they sit firmly in the basement of the NHL. Columbus was supposed to be right there with them, but they've been one of the bigger surprises this season. Despite missing Sean Monahan with injury, Adam Fantilli has stepped up big time as he pots another one against Vegas, and Cole Sillinger finishes the job in OT for Columbus to hold that last wildcard spot in the East. Right behind them is Detroit. Not many teams come back down 2-0 to the Oilers, but the Red Wings find a little bit of that McClellan magic and complete the comeback in the shootout to stay right in the mix. Friday, Miller Mania. Back-to-back Fridays where we have monster deals. Finally, the JT Miller saga in Vancouver comes to an end. The Canucks ship him back to where it all started in New York. The full trade will be on screen here, but pretty underwhelming, yet expected, considering that Vancouver had little leverage when it came to this situation. That still doesn't mean it hurts any less for Canucks fans to see a player like Miller walk. However, they are hoping it finally brings some sort of resolve or peace to that locker room, and right away they were tested against Dallas tonight. JT Miller actually showed up to this game, walked into the dressing room, and then was traded 25 minutes later. Despite it being a tight game, Dallas takes advantage of the circus in Vancouver and takes this one 5-3. Then after that game, the Canucks made another trade to bring in a third Pettersson and Marcus Pettersson, the defenseman in Pittsburgh. Truly JT Miller's worst nightmare with 3 Petterssons on one team. He's probably happier than ever to be out of there, but the Canucks were active on Friday night. Meanwhile, in Colorado, the real Slim Shady and Marty Necas is settling in, just gallivanting like a gazelle through the middle and ripping one for his first as an AF. Colorado steamrolls St. Louis and wins 5-0. With the Sabres winning Friday night's toilet bowl against the Preds, that left Columbus and Utah, where the Blue Jackets show some heart. Down by 2, they rally back to force OT, where Sillinger and Werenski play hot potato on the 2-on-0. You shoot it, no, you shoot it. Werenski finally says, fine, I'll do it. He continues to be an absolute horse for the Columbus Blue Jackets as they win their 3rd in a row. Saturday, hockey night. The JT Miller era in New York has begun, and he makes an immediate impact. Guy leaves Vancouver and pots 2 goals in his debut. That's what leaving Canada does to a man. However, the Rangers are still the Rangers this year. Pasta hat trick completely ruins Miller's return as Boston takes it 6-3. Then how about this for a quick start by the Hawks? Landon Slaggert 7 seconds in scores the fastest goal in franchise history. Unfortunately, everything was all downhill from there for Chicago. They get absolutely dominated for the remainder of the game. Poor Peter Mrazek got bombarded with 44 shots as the Panthers blow out Chicago in Paul Maurice's 900th career win. Meanwhile, the juggernauts of the league go toe-to-toe in the Jets and the Caps. They had a back-and-forth game as expected, and late in the third, it's the Great Eight. He leans into one to beat Hellebuck, and the Ovi goal tracker now has him 18 away from the goal record. A game like this deserved overtime, and Josh Morrissey seals it with his second of the game for what could potentially be a future Stanley Cup final matchup. For now, though, the Jets stay the top dogs of the league, and from the top, we go to the bottom between Nashville and Pittsburgh. Sid the middle-aged man has been sick of the media's sick of the hashtag #SaveSid movement, and he scores again. Goals in 4 straight games for him as the Penguins shut out the Preds, who slip further into their colossal disappointment of a season. Meanwhile, the Ottawa Senators look incredible. Jake Sanderson turns into prime Erik Karlsson for the night with a goal and 3 assists, and then the Wild and Ryan Hartman get a little pissy. Hartman basically straight up DDTs Tim Stützle's face into the ice and gets ejected from the game to give the Sens a 5-minute power play. They say thank you very much, we'll take it, and they proceed to score 3 goals on the power play. They overwhelm the Wild with 52 shots, and Levi Merilainen gets his 3rd shutout of the season. That's now 4 wins in a row for Ottawa, who sit 3rd in the Atlantic and would play the Toronto Maple Leafs if the playoffs started today. Just what Leaf Nation needs, another potential first-round choke in the Battle of Ontario, but they can avoid that all by winning their division, and it starts by trying to beat a red-hot Oilers team. Connor McDavid made some comments about the start time of this game, and it's probably why the Oilers looked like they were sleeping in the first 20 minutes. 3-0 explosion in the first period for Toronto, but these are the Leafs. The Oilers slowly chip away at Toronto's lead. Scory Perry cuts the lead down to 1, and then Leon Draisaitl blows the roof off of Edmonton to tie it. But wait, the Leafs challenge for offside. Gary Bettman's on line 1, and he says no goal. The Leafs somehow still have the lead, but it's full-blown fire drill on their own end in the dying seconds. Perry has Wall dead to rights, and he stones him at the buzzer. My goodness, how glovely of Giuseppe Wonderwall to steal the 2 points for Toronto as they come into Edmonton and snap their 3-game losing streak. The Silent Killers and the Kings also did the same against Carolina, which isn't the end of the world for the Hurricanes considering they still sit second in the Metro, but my God, dare I say, they hear the footsteps of the New York Islanders. Lou says, okay, think we're boring? Let's have our rookie Mark Gacombe come in and just level Jake Gensel. He then drops the gloves with Atkinson and does more than hold his own. However, whenever you play Tampa, you gotta know Kucherov's gonna find a way. Still in the rocking chair with a smoke and a pancake, he ties the game in the final minute. Overtime, here we go, and everyone's favorite offensive defenseman, and Tony DeAngelo, says let's go home. Lou's plan for Soprano hockey is working, and now they've won 7 in a row to be 3 points back of a wild card spot. Incredible. They, however, are right behind Detroit, who are starting to find the McClellan magic once again. Dylan Larkin went 15 games without a goal, and all of a sudden he's got 11 goals in 16 games. The Red Wings' PK is atrocious. Worst in the league, but they kill off a big one late in the third to hold the 1-goal lead, and then they call the cop for the empty netter. Octopus are flying on the ice like it's the good old days. They're not even in their home barn, but it doesn't matter as Detroit wins their 5th in a row. So, what did you think of Week 17? Who pissed you off? Who surprised you? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to check out some of our deeper player and team breakdowns from this past week, click on any of the links on the videos right here and subscribe to the channel for more weekly content.